Greetings, opera lovers. Live from Bloomfield, Connecticut, it's Rona with a very casual review of last night's Richard Tucker Gala and the award winner Lisette Oropeza, other former winners, a couple of international stars, members of the Metropolitan Opera Orchestra, James Gaffigan, the conductor, and the New York Choral Society. Overall, it was just a fun evening. And I know that there was no broadcast of this event. And so, for those of you who want to know how the evening went, and most importantly, what the singers wore, then you should listen up. So, my husband and two very good friends of mine went to New York for this, and we just had such a great time. It's a very fun evening, starting off with Barry Tucker acknowledging that in our audience was a great opera supporter, Ruth Bader Ginsburg. She might have gotten the biggest hand of the evening. That was really wonderful. And then the evening started. The orchestra played the overture from I Vesperi Siciliani, a great start to the evening. And then we had a parade of former Richard Tucker award winners, two international stars, and also two other singers who got encouragement awards this year. And I have to give a big shout out to Corey Stallings from Pittsburgh. I've heard Corey many times. She is a wonderful singer. I'm so thrilled for her that she has gotten this recognition. Here's hoping for a long and glorious career. You deserve it. You've worked hard. On to the evening. So I'm going to save what I want to say about Lisette last. We'll start with who I think really was the outstanding performer for the other guests, and that was Andrzej Oginski. He is a Polish baritone. I don't know whether you would call him a Verdi baritone, a lyric baritone. This is what I would say. He's a gorgeous baritone. That voice is liquid gold, and he's an excellent musician. For his solo turn, he sang Il Balen from Trovatore, and he did it in what I would call like the four phrases as one. Very reminiscent of the late, great Dmitri Vorostovsky. In fact, as he was singing this, I kept thinking, this is the air we've been waiting for. So again, here's hoping for a long and glorious career to Mr. Oginski. I was very looking forward to hearing live some singers that I've never heard live before. I would say the one I was looking forward to most was Ermanela Yaho. She was Butterfly about 2 years ago at the Met and has an enormous career in Europe. She sang first Adriana Lecouvreur's big aria, and then she did a duet with Stephen Costello, the duet from Act One of Madama Butterfly. In both cases, her voice did not at all sound like a big lyric or a spinto soprano. She's a very sensitive artist, and she throws herself into the text. But on a gala like this, it just didn't seem right. But I'm not complaining. I was glad to have heard her. Another singer I wanted to hear live was Angel Blue. She was so fabulous in the broadcast of Porgy and Bess, and I caught the live stream from Aix-en-Provence of Tosca. What a voice. It's just fabulous. But last night she sang first from Louise Dupuis Le Jour, which I didn't think went over that well, especially the coordination between her and the conductor, which was a big problem throughout the evening. Later she sang a duet, again with Mr. Oginski from Trovatore, and her voice rang out beautifully on the high notes, so that was really good. And she wore a gorgeous yellow gown. Oh, I forgot to mention Miss Yaho, who is built like this, wore a stunning red fishtail gown with a sweetheart silhouette. She is a magnificent looking person. So next for the women, another person I was looking forward to was hearing live was Jamie Barton. She sang the two grand arias from Don Carlo, the Veil Song and then O Don Fatale. You know what? She had a great time. She walked out like the diva she is. She wore two terrific dresses. The first one was a more simple affair with some sheer material on the top and then some sparkle stuff. Her second dress was over the top. It had a cape, but only on one side, a big collar over one side. And it had like a grand cape to the floor that she fanned out so you could see the beautiful colors, the red and the blue and the in-betweens. It was really just lovely. So I love her voice. It's a gorgeous thing, and she sings so beautifully. I think that these two arias from this opera is something that she'll do very well in the future. Right now, I would say it's more like a work in progress, but I will tell you, the audience absolutely ate her up. They loved every second she was there, and there was a crisscross of energy between her and the audience. That was terrific. Next was Eileen Perez. First, she did the Canzone di Doretta. That was very beautifully sung. However, the lack of coordination between her and the conductor was really pretty severe. So that kind of put a damper on things. At the end of the concert, she sang with Lucas Meekum the final duet from Thais. Well, it was just elegant and gorgeous. I would say she also had the audience right with her for every note. It was so beautiful, and I love that music. And that was the end of the regular concert, so just a wonderful all around. And the solo violinist did a beautiful job playing the tune that we all know as the Meditation. Let's see. There was also an excerpt from Tosca with Christian Van Horn and the chorus members, the Te Deum from Tosca. That was not exactly a high point, as unfortunately, Mr. Van Horn's voice was overshadowed, or he was drowned out by the orchestra. Where we could hear him, his voice was wonderful. And also, I thought that was kind of a poor choice to put in the middle of the program. Rounding out the singers was Lucas Meekum, who sang Pharaoh's aria, and he had a lot of fun with it. The audience loved it. Oops, I almost forgot. Stephen Costello. He sang the aria from Carmen, and I used to really like him a whole lot more because I thought his voice had so much promise. And now, I don't know, I think he is where he is, and I'm a little disappointed. Maybe it just wasn't the best night, but the audience appreciated him as well. And he wore some odd clothing. I can't really describe it because I was so far up, I couldn't really see that well. I was in the final balcony, but in the first row of the balcony, the top balcony. Oops, how could I forget? Michael Fabiano. He did a magnificent interpretation of Kuda Kuda. I'm not so sure about the Russian, as I don't speak it, but it was a very earnest performance, which is a way I would describe his work in general. He works hard, he gives it his all, and it's always a very good rendition. He's always there. Okay, I think I got everybody. If I didn't, I'm sorry. Finally, we get to Lisette. So Lisette came out and she sang an unknown aria to me from Tancredi. I've actually heard Tancredi, but the soprano aria is not one that's famous. And it has a male chorus to go with it. So when the male chorus started, their rhythm was really sloppy, and that already put things kind of in the negative column. She had a lot of runs, a lot of high notes, but overall, I don't really care for that aria, so I was a little disappointed. However, she came back, and she came back in full glory with Qui la voce and then the cabaletta. The Qui la voce was just meltingly gorgeous. She rode on top of the orchestra so beautifully, and I love her middle and low voice as well. Very rich and completely coordinated. Then comes the big cabaletta, where you get to show off everything. She had a lot to show off, and she did it fabulously. As many of you know, I studied singing and I had a little bit of a professional career, and I studied hard. And when it came to doing chromatic scales or even regular scales, I was at a loss. I just could not manage them. Well, this aria has a ton of them at the end. She was pinpoint perfect. I loved it. And then she did the second verse interpolated with just tons of trills. Her trills are tight and perfect, just great. I was trying to think, how would I describe her voice in terms of something that you could see? Well, to me, it's like someone was a sculptor and was picking away at little pieces of, let's say, marble or porcelain to make something very detailed and perfect. And that's what her voice sounds like, detailed and perfect and beautiful. If there's a sculpture that sort of could embody what she was like, almost like one of the bronze Degas ballerinas. Beautiful posture, a great stance, history behind it, elegance. That's the way she was. Now for her dresses, the really important part. So she came out in true gowns. Of course she wore two. They were similar in style. They each had a sleeveless, a strapless bustier and a big flowing skirt. She looked like $1,000,000, and she carried herself so wonderfully. Brava to Lisette. You deserved that award, and you gave the audience a great night. At the end of the concert, there was the sextet from Lucia. Everybody sang wonderfully, and they brought out the two other award winners to fill out the sextet. I was so happy to see that as well. The audience just loved the evening, as did we. My only complaint was our seats were so tight against the railing in front of us that even I'm really short and I have short legs, even I was uncomfortable. My husband has very long legs. I really felt for him. It was tough. But we were glad we went in. I don't know that I'll be going to any other Tucker galas, but this was wonderful. I hope I didn't make too many mistakes because I'm not editing this, but I hope you all enjoyed my little comments, and I'll be making some more of these when I get back to the Met and see more matinees later in 2020. Have a great day, everybody, and enjoy this magnificent fall.